Hello and welcome to another recap of Shields Ministries. And today's topic, first, I'm Lim, your host, and today's topic that we're excited about is planning for your future. Do you have a plan for your life? What does that plan look like? Have you written it down? Do you believe in it? Have you lost hope? Have you lost faith in the thing that you thought that was going to be your dream? I was listening to a particular YouTube video with Dr. Boykins, and he had a host on there, and one of the guys was saying, a guest on there, one of the guys was saying on there that 70% of black African Americans are undiagnosed depressed, which means they don't even realize it. And some of that depression, I believe, stems from the fact that they lost hope. Hope in that my life is not going to get any better than what it is. It is what it is. This is the best it's going to get. And it's easy for us when we have no hope to get stuck in dead-end jobs, dead-end relationships, just a dead-end mindset, where we believe that, Lord, I'm still waiting on you. And so my point is, at some point in time, just because something doesn't work doesn't mean we stop and give up on it. We have to continue to have the mindset to plant seeds. And as we look at people who have been successful in any line of endeavor, they all have failed and they all have had to continue to plant seeds and to defy the depression, the being stuck, and those fears that set in when people say no, or it's not good enough, or that business didn't make any money, or you didn't get to where you thought you should have been. And so we all see that. But another thing I was talking about when we got on the show today, we talked about that even people who are not saved, don't have any relationship with God, if they practice principles, business principles, and even some spiritual principles, sowing and reaping, but bigger than sowing and reaping, actually just have enough faith to exercise what they believe, then they can succeed. And so why is it that, individuals who have no relationship with the Creator their goals are being met, but individuals who have a relationship with God, with Jesus Christ, are not getting their dreams and fulfilled and goals met? And one of the reasons is sometimes is one person in the church or someone else may just have given up, have said, Lord, I believe you that you can save me and save my sin and save my family, but I don't believe that you can give me a better quality of life and help me with that. Lord, I've given up on that thing that I wanted when I was 20 and now I'm 40. I gave up on that because evidently if it didn't happen at 20, maybe it's not meant for it to happen at all. It's all kind of, things, mindsets that sets in different, negative thoughts that will set in and creep into your mindset when you become, complacent, or I would say, get used to your surroundings, your situation, and just say, well, I worked on this job. Let me just go on and just continue working on here and not have anything else going while you are working to pay bills. And a lot of times I talked about this on the show when we can't get upset with people who own companies when they decide who they want to hire. Okay. When they decide how much we can make and they cap us out on our earning potential, we can't get mad at that. Because the business plan that they set up was designed for them to be wealthy, not for us to be wealthy. There's no way as an employee that you're going to be able to have the earning potential of the employer. Otherwise, you would be the employer, in just normal conditions, 9-to-5 conditions. Now, I know there's stock options and stuff like that, but I'm talking about just in a normal situation. The owner of something is setting up a business plan where the owner benefits. And the owner has the option to hire whoever they want and can actually have the option to leave that business to his or her heirs. That's part of being an owner. But what it really is part of is I am going to not be afraid to take the risk. If I take the risk, I deserve the spoils of that. So then the message coming back to us as individuals who have worked for other people is, when are we not going to be afraid to believe in our gifts and skills and take a risk? And that's the thing. And when we take the risk, there's an empowerment. I always quote Dr. Boyce Watkins on this one concept. He says, When he got fired or he got he let go at his professorship over at, I think, Syracuse University, and he worked at a few universities as a professor of finance, he says, it didn't hurt me or affect me that much because I had resources saved. So it was an smoother transition to transition into my now self-employed entrepreneurship mode because I had resources. Now, one thing is there's an empowerment when we have resources that we don't have when we don't. And a perfect example of that is, as you see, when we're talking about dealing with racism and, not opportunities are not being equal across the board. Well, he said another powerful statement. He says, racism doesn't really hurt you when you have resources. So if a white man or corporate America won't hire me, well, that's okay because I have ways to different avenues or different streams of revenue. So I'm not subservient to only one way to skin the cat. And I thought that was so powerful. It is so true that when we don't have a plan or don't have resources or don't respect money enough to save money, if we can possibly, then what ends up happening is our choices are cut. And then we do have to put up with those situations that are uncomfortable for us. And race is more of a factor when you don't have your resources. It is more of a factor. Or nepotism on these jobs or favoritism on these jobs are more powerful or come into play when you can't just tell the job. And this is what Dr. Boyce White says, you got to have FU money. When you get to the point where the job says, well, I don't want you no more, or you don't want to be there, I got FU money. I can, FU money means I have resources that I can go do something else. I can start a business. I can go, I got money saved where I don't have to deal with certain things that someone else would have to deal with. And I know that sounds kind of callous or crass for some people, but the truth of the matter is the one thing that we don't want anyone to take from us is our power to choose. The Lord, the reason why God is because he gives every human being, one of the reasons is because he gives every human being the power of choice. And it seems like that we have a community of people who don't have choices. And that makes you frustrated. That makes you feel hopeless and depressed and stuck when you're like, I have to do that. I have to go to work tomorrow to that job. I have to work for this person. I have to put up with being mistreated. I have to put up with listening to racial slurs or sexual, dealing with different situations on the job that I don't feel comfortable with. And the one reason we feel like we have to is because we don't have choices. And one of the reasons why we don't have choices is because we haven't planned on transitioning into an avenue that will give us more choices, so that we don't have to wait to be told when to go on vacation, when to come to work, when to go to lunch, so forth and so on. And there, again, I'm not downplaying or saying there's anything wrong with working 9 to 5. I work a 9 to 5. I've been self-employed. I've lived on both sides of the spectrum, so I can relate. But I tell you, there is a power in even being self-employed. There's a power in having those choices. There's a power in self-motivation versus that I have to go, or having someone micromanage you all day. There's a power that I do this because I want to do this. My quality of work, the way I show up to life is because this is who I am, not because someone is telling me to do it. And so that's kind of like the beginning of the entrepreneur spirit. I'm going to do this regardless. And one of the things I can relate to my own life that I've had great discipline in is I work out every day. So no one has to tell me, Lim, you need to get up in the morning, so go to the gym. No, this is something that's ingrained in me. It's inside of me. So I do it even when I don't want to do it, don't feel like it, but I do it and I enjoy it. And I think that when we look at individuals today who admire successful people, which is nothing wrong with that, and who look up to them, one of the things that we admire about successful people is they have choices. They can leave tomorrow, get on the plane, and go to Europe. They can take their kids to wherever they want to. They can spend their money how they want to. Those choices are what we really admire more than anything else. It just seems like they live a much freer existence than people who are strapped for cash, broke, don't have nothing, struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. They live a lot freer life. Now, the biblical excerpt to that is the borrower is always servant to the lender. That's just the honest to God truth. The borrower is always servant to the lender. So that's part of it. And so we look at situations like that. We say, well, when is it? So what do I have to do to finally get to a point where I am not afraid? Or if I'm afraid, I'm still going to go against that, defy that fear, and take a risk and step out in faith and trust God that He has placed something in my heart. Everybody, we all have gifts. He has placed something in me that the world is waiting for. And that's the difference, mind you, between the haves and the have-nots, is that they provide a service, something to the world that the world needs. And then the world then in turns what pays. The worker is worth his wage. So if you have something that benefits people, they will pay for that service. If I have a gift, a talent, an idea that serves people, it warrants a paycheck. It warrants financial freedom. That's so the search is on our time that we're not at work or sometimes here's the thing, and this is to me, we need to turn the TV off sometimes. We need to pick up some books. We need to read the word. We need to also pick up some books. We need to plan out our strategy for what is my life going to look like. In some of the downtime that we may have, that we're watching movies and watching TV, watching sports, kind of just, that time could be better utilized towards my breakthrough. I'm ready to figure out what my next steps are going to be. And you know what the truth of the matter is? If we're going to break through, it's going to be because we are a part of it. It's not going to be because someone just gave us something. So we have to get out of that mindset that people are going to just give it to you. No, we have to actually go out there and apply ourselves. And so, with that said, I thank God for the opportunity again to come to you on another Shields Ministries broadcast. The topics are wonderful. We encourage you to continue to call in and to participate because the more the merrier. The more ideas we have, the better the group becomes. And I'm looking forward to our yearly annual retreat coming up in Atlanta. And I thank God for that. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be an opportunity for us all to come together. And again, this is your brother Lim signing off on another show. God bless.